Welcome to the TechEd session, Streamline Transformation with Custom Code Migration Tools in RISE with SAP. My name is Olga Dolinskaja. I am a part of ABAP Platform Product Management team, and I am your speaker for today. Best-run businesses are intelligent enterprises which apply technologies within agile, efficient, and integrated business processes. At SAP, we have designed an intelligent enterprise strategy which helps companies to transform to intelligent enterprise at the right speed and in the right terms. The question is now how to put your company on that path. RISE with SAP is the new business transformation as a service offering which helps to transform your company to intelligent enterprise, and SAP together with a strong ecosystem will help you to transform into 3 simple steps: business process redesign, technical migration, and building of your intelligent enterprise. Technical migration comprises the tools and services from SAP which will help you for the successful business transformation. The technical migration includes also the identification of custom code which is suitable for migration. And since custom code migration topic is so important for customers, we have included custom code migration app into the RISE bundle, and it is available with every RISE with SAP subscription. With RISE with SAP, you can set up custom code migration app in the SAP BTP-ABAP environment, which can be entitled using your Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement credits included into your RISE with SAP offer. Over the past years, SAP customers have heavily extended and modified SAP solutions. There are ERP systems with a few million lines of custom code. On the way to intelligent enterprise during system conversion to SAP S/4HANA or transformation to SAP Business Technology Platform, customers need to identify the custom code which is suitable for migration and adapt it accordingly. And thereby the customers face the following challenges. The understanding about the custom code impact must be won in a very early stage of the custom code migration project. This would save cost. The largest part of custom code in the traditional ERP system is never executed in production. Such unused code pieces must be identified and removed from the system. Also, all impacted custom code objects must be adapted, and if you get automation adaptation capabilities, this would significantly speed up your whole adaptation process. Besides that, complex code pieces will cause high adaptation and maintenance costs, and if you just take over the whole existing custom code from your ERP system to the new world, you will also end up with a high adaptation and maintenance cost. Custom Code Migration app is the tool of choice for the custom code migration projects within SAP S/4HANA transformation or migration to SAP Business Technology Platform. Custom Code Migration app analyzes your custom code for SAP S/4HANA or cloud readiness depending on your custom code migration project. It supports simplified code remediation and also is capable to detect the unused code and drive its removal based on the usage data. The app can identify complex custom code developments as future candidates for redesign and various back-to-standard activities. And also the app can evaluate which custom code parts can be adapted in a semi-automated way using the quick fixes in ABAP development tools and Eclipse. The dedicated workflow provided on the SAP Business Technology Platform supports automated setup and configuration of the custom code migration app in SAP BTP-ABAP environment. Traditionally, custom code developed in the business suite landscapes contains a lot of enhancements, modifications, and even clones of SAP standard code. The business transformation to intelligent enterprise can be significantly accelerated if you follow the clean core principle for your system. Your system conversion to SAP S/4HANA, for example, is a given opportunity to invest into simplification and cleanup of your custom code. Custom Code Migration app helps you to assess custom code impact and reinforce clean core principle for your system by offering various dashboards which allow to track down the complex custom code developments or find out how tightly your custom code is coupled with SAP standard. These capabilities should also support your decision-making for the custom code transformation to SAP Business Technology Platform. In the classic SAP S/4HANA on-premise conversion projects, Clean Core is rather optional because there you can still use classic extensibility options and you would need only to adapt your code to SAP S/4HANA software. Of course, you can consider to outsource some loosely coupled SAP custom code developments to SAP Business Technology Platform as a side-by-side extension. This development mode in SAP S/4HANA on-premise is rather flexible but not upgrade stable. Recommend to consider Clean Core for SAP S/4HANA Private Cloud Edition because there classic extensions to SAP standard are not recommended anymore, and for low and no code extensions in app extensibility should be evaluated, and for tightly custom code developments we recommend to use the new on-stack extensibility option, also known as developer extensibility or under the nickname embedded steampunk, which will be available with SAP S/4HANA Cloud. The early adapter program is currently running for this option. You can also consider, of course, outsourcing the code to SAP Business Technology Platform. With on-stack extensibility option, you will be upgrade stable and you can develop cloud-like. And the Clean Core becomes mandatory in the SAP S/4HANA Public Cloud because there we don't support classic extensibility options anymore, and you would need to adapt your code by means of in-app extensibility and the new on-stack extensibility option. Beyond this, if you outsource the loosely coupled custom code to SAP Business Technology Platform as a side-by-side extension, then you will be certainly in the best position because there you can develop absolutely cloud-ready, decoupled, and flexible extensions to all SAP S/4HANA product types. Which benefits does custom code migration app offer to you? If you find out which issues you have in your custom code in advance, you can better plan your adaptation efforts. Also, if you identify the unused and obsolete code and remove it from the system, this will significantly save your costs for adaptation and also future maintenance of your custom code. The app comes along with advanced analysis capabilities, which will help you better understand the custom code impact. And also, if you make use of the automated capabilities via the quick fixes, you will significantly save your manual work for the custom code adaptation. If you identify complex custom code developments, and then hopefully it will drive your back to standard and various redesign activities. Custom code migration app comes along with the two main high-level features, scoping and analysis. During scoping, you determine the custom code which should be migrated, and analysis helps you to analyze your custom code for migration. During scoping, you can upload collected usage data for your custom code and define the initial scope based on that. You can anytime adjust the scope manually, and you can, of course, identify your complex custom code and remove it from scope. Finally, you save the scope as transport request. The analysis capabilities are built on remote ABAP test cockpit infrastructure, and the app offers you different analytical representations of the custom code analysis results. You can use also different filters to customize your analysis results view, and again identify the custom code candidates for automated adaptation via quick fixes, or you have different detailed analysis capabilities in place. For the custom code migration scenario, custom code migration app supports two main use cases: migration to SAP S/4HANA and migration to SAP BTP. And additionally, you can execute classic custom code analysis using custom code migration app and arbitrary ABAP test cockpit check variants. Let's start with the first use case, custom code migration to SAP S4HANA. This is how the custom code migration process to SAP S4HANA looks like. You begin with the scoping to determine which custom code will go to SAP S4HANA. Using the uploaded usage data, you can decide which custom code you can remove from the system because it's outdated and obsolete. Also, via using different complexity and dependency dashboards, you can identify which custom code developments maybe are good candidates for moving to SAP Business Technology Platform. And then you analyze your custom code for S4HANA readiness and move it to SAP S4HANA, for example, during the system conversion. And then you can adapt your custom code directly on the new S4HANA system. And subsequently, you can modernize your custom code by means of different code pushdown techniques, or, for example, using RESTful ABAP application programming model, or even make it for the future cloud ready by applying only released APIs. Let's begin with the first step, the scoping of custom code for the S4HANA migration. Our statistics from the last 15 years show that on average 30 to 60% of the custom code is never executed in productive ERP systems. And therefore, it would be a good investment to clean up your systems from the unused code. The understanding about the usage of custom code in productive environments begins with collection of the usage data. Therefore, SAP recommendation is at least 1 year prior to the system conversion project to collect usage data for your custom code in production using the ABAP Call Monitor, transaction SCMON and SUCG, or if you have already collected usage data using usage procedure login and solution manager, then you can, of course, reuse these collected usage data. The second step would be to upload the collected usage data to custom code migration app to define the initial custom code scope. Of course, you can adjust this custom code scope manually if you need it. For example, if you want to add new developments for which the usage data simply don't exist, or remove some custom code developments from the scope. Finally, you create deletion transport for your custom code, and during software installation through the software update manager, you can add this deletion transport as a custom transport, and the software update manager will remove it from the system. If you have concerns about removing the unused custom code because you may think that you will need it at a later point of time, we recommend to maintain the backup system for your custom code as, for example, downsized productive or downsized development system. Customers tend often to reuse the whole custom code from today's ERP. If you just take over the whole existing custom code to the new system, please consider the following. First, this custom code must undergo the same adaptation procedure. And most likely also the unused code need to be adapted in order not to cause dumps or data inconsistencies in the system. Also, this is the second most important topic, the custom code might be very complex and also might cause performance optimization need or also has quality issues. And beyond this, you may have in the custom code the developments which are outdated both technically and functionally because they may rely on older enhancements techniques or contain older business logic. And therefore, you should get rid of such custom code, and especially for that, we have designed dedicated dashboard in the custom code migration app, which helps you to assess complexity of your custom code migration project in advance. It works as the following. While defining the scope of your custom code for SAP S4HANA, you can display its complexity in a graphic It summarizes the number of changes in your custom code along with its complexity. And complexity means how difficult is the code to understand when applying changes. This dashboard should be used as a technical metrics to prioritize which of your custom code developments need a redesign. And for the systems with a larger custom code footprint, we generally recommend to begin with the 15 to 25 top custom code development packages, top complex custom code development packages, which are presented on the upper right part of the diagram. After you have identified complex custom code developments, it's time to review them, and the review procedure should contain the following steps. First, you need to reconfirm the need for the functionality with business, if this logic is needed at all. And we also recommend to set as much as possible back to standard. And then you should evaluate if the same can be achieved by means of in-app or side-by-side extensibility, and the remaining part of the custom code can be just taken over to the new S/4HANA system. Custom code migration app executes S/4HANA readiness checks over your custom code and presents the analysis results with comprehensive filtering and navigation capabilities. These analysis results should serve as a foundation for all custom code adaptation activities. To be especially highlighted here are the predefined filters. You can filter your analysis results, for example, by SAP node, in order to find out in which simplification areas of SAP S/4HANA you have the most findings, or by scope, in order to find out how many findings in the code which is scoped for SAP S/4HANA, or by priority, or also by the quick fix availability, in order to detect which findings in your custom code you would need to fix manually because there are no quick fixes for them. Of course, you have also detailed analysis of a finding, and you can navigate directly to the custom code object, to the source line of it. You can make use of the findings burn down chart, and you can also download of analysis results to the Excel or for the upload to the SAP readiness check. After you have the new SAP S/4HANA system in place, it's time to adapt your custom code. And the tool of choice for the adaptation is ABAP development tools in Eclipse, along with the quick fixes which are available there. If you evaluate quick fixes in ABAP development tools in Eclipse, you will detect that you can achieve up to 60% automation rate for the most frequent findings of the typical S/4HANA simplification use cases by applying the quick fixes. The typical simplification use cases of SAP S/4HANA cover such issues like, for example, missing order by in selects, or material and amount field length extensions, or different data model changes, and so on. And of course, also must-enabled quick fixes are offered in ABAP development tools in Eclipse. You can execute them at one shot and adapt the whole development packages. Let's take a look at another use case, custom code migration to SAP Business Technology Platform. This is how the process of the custom code migration to SAP BTP looks like. You also begin with the scoping and decide which custom code should be transformed to SAP Business Technology Platform. Then you analyze the custom code for SAP BTP readiness, move it to SAP BTP, and finally adapt it. You define the scope of the custom code for BTP transformation in the manual way. That is, you select which application you would like to take over to the cloud, and the app also scopes the dependent objects automatically. Especially for such replatforming projects as custom code migration to SAP BTP, we have designed the dependency analysis. And dependency analysis is capable to detect how tightly your custom code is coupled to SAP standard. Current showstoppers in custom code for BTP transformations are direct API calls on SAP application logic and direct calls on SAP application tables like Mara, for example. These calls are counted and displayed in the corresponding dashboards. The dependency analysis should serve as one of the metrics to decide which custom code should be transformed to SAP Business Technology Platform. In the actual moving of the custom code is currently supported through the ABAP Git plugin, meaning you can use ABAP Git plugin in your on-premise SAP ERP system in order to export the custom code from there and store it in the outside Git repository. And then in your cloud-based system on SAP BTP, you can use the corresponding ABAP Git plugin in ABAP development tools in Eclipse and import the custom code there. The analysis capabilities of the custom code migration app for the SAP BTP migration use case are quite the same as for SAP S/4HANA migration. You have the same filters, you have the same navigation and presentation capabilities, the same charts and diagrams. You have detailed analysis in place. You can evaluate your code for automated adaptation via the quick fixes. You can download analysis results and so on. The only difference are the checks which are running over your custom code. And in this particular use case, the checks which are executed are cloud readiness checks. And these cloud readiness checks for SAP BTP migration are capable to detect if your custom code is using unsupported technologies in the cloud, for example, JINPRO, or unreleased objects for SAP BTP ABAP environment, or also non-compatible or obsolete ABAP statements which are not available in ABAP language version cloud. After you have transformed your custom code to the SAP Business Technology Platform, it's time to adapt it. And the tool of choice for the adaptation of the custom code is ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse. And you can do it in the manual way, but the quick fixes for the cloud use case are also available in ABAP Development Tools in Eclipse. The quick fixes allow you to minimize your adaptation effort for the custom code migration to the cloud and adaptation. And the quick fixes allow you to adapt your custom code to ABAP language version cloud, to usage of only released for the cloud objects, or to use of the API calls instead of direct accesses to SY fields and so on. There are some examples of the quick fixes. For example, you can use quick fixes in order to replace data element by release data element. For example, we allow in the cloud only ABAP_Boolean as custom Boolean data type, and all other data types are not allowed. Or, for example, you can use the quick fixes to replace the syntax elements. For example, the move statement is not there in the cloud and you need to use the assignment and so on. And also you have the mass-enabled quick fixes available, which allow you to adapt the whole packages of your custom code objects at one shot. How do you get started with the custom code migration app? The best way to start is to use the dedicated mission, which is provided in SAP Discovery Center. Custom Code Migration app runs in the SAP BTP ABAP environment, and the setup and automated configuration is provided through the dedicated workflow guided by Cloud Integration Automation Service. So your on-premise system will be prepared for the usage of the mission, in that sense that the on-premise connectivity will be established, all the necessary SAP nodes get installed, and also the SAP BTP ABAP environment get installed automatically, and the app, Custom Code Migration app, get also automatically installed and configured for the usage. Using the mission, you will get step-by-step guided custom code analysis for SAP S/4HANA use case, and this is really the way to go to use this mission. Further information is available in SAP community for ABAP testing and analysis. And here again, you have the link to the corresponding mission in the SAP Discovery Center. And we recommend to review the slides, this slide for the further learning offerings from the SAP TechEd. Thank you very much for your attention.